Hello there. What better way for me to make a comeback video by talking bad about a Toku show again? Brings back great memories, doesn't it? But I'm not really too interested in doing that. Not really too interested in doing what I used to do. I'm not gonna come here and talk about how cringe Smile Smile was like. Or saying how much I hate New Generation Ultraman all the time. Or any of that nonsense. Yeah, I kind of gotten over it. So instead, I really want to try to change that. I want to talk about some things that I like and also some things that I dislike about some Toku shows that I watch without being completely savage about it. So yeah, new series by me. Nice. Hot Toku topic. Now this series is just me ranting about some things that I like about a Toku show or some things that I dislike. Simple. Take it as a review type of video, but not really a review. I don't know if it's just me giving bad opinions again. I mean, what else am I gonna talk about for the series? So let's get started. But first, hot Toku topic is Garo, Heir to Steel Armor. Why I stopped watching the latest Garo series. Why did you stop? Easy. I got bored of it. I mean, if you want a brief answer, then yeah, here you go. But alright, it's not like I hated the show or anything. And it's not like this was so cringe. No, none of that. As a matter of fact, this show is definitely not cringe. It doesn't feel like a show that follows a storytelling that's similar to the main Toku shows that are airing right now. Not trying to say that the latest Toku shows are trash or cringe. And this show also definitely does feel like a show that is geared towards a more adult audience, meaning a bit more mature than the average tokusatsu. I don't feel like I need to give an explanation or any sort of reason as to why it's geared towards an adult audience, because you only just need to look at it and you'll see that none of it seems to be kid friendly at all. People be dropping like flies in some episodes. I guess the simplest way to say this is that it doesn't follow the tropes that are like the main Toku shows. Which tropes, you may ask? Pretty much all that toy stuff. Whenever someone transforms, toys. Whenever someone needs to change forms, toys. Whenever someone needs to fight, toys. Yeah, Garo isn't a show about selling toys to children like what the main Toku shows are sort of doing. I don't think they've ever wanted to overly dramatically advertise their toys or merchandise in any way ever. But I'm not here to talk about all of that. I'm here to talk about why I stopped watching this show. So it's time to expand on my point of why I stopped watching because I got bored. Story writing. Story writing for this show is, in my opinion, isn't really the greatest, and some of the factors is that it's quite slow and also quite confusing at times. Whenever the show has a story that flows to the next episode, there are times when it feels like it doesn't make sense. For example, Soma Shirahane. I don't know if I said that properly. Story arc. Beware, some spoilers ahead, but I won't spoil everything. In the beginning, we're introduced with a stubborn character that wanted to do things his own way and wasn't open to cooperation with anyone, even if it meant the help of the other knights entering his city to overcome the threat of the horrors. He always had worked on his own and never wanted help in any shape or form until his story arc, where he learns his lessons by undergoing training with the other Makai knights, and he then learns that he needs people around him to fight against the horrors that were taking over his city. Sounds like a decent story arc for one character, but the thing that bothers me most about this is that this was all covered in about 2 episodes. That also had to happen in the very beginning of the series. I didn't like that too much, mostly because I didn't feel like I could relate to him as well as I wanted to. I felt like maybe his character could have been developed as the story went on rather than being developed so early in the series. It made me lose interest in him in a way, because rather than seeing his character getting developed as the series went on, we're almost forced to relate to him as quickly as possible to get over the fact that he is stubborn and uncooperative to then being helpful and somewhat caring. I didn't feel right. The reason why I say this is because when we compare this to the original Silver Knight Fang Zero, Rei Suzumura, in the first Garo series, where he was a brash character, not afraid to show off his skills and his opinions, and always talking back to Garo. It even got to a point where Zero and Garo start fighting over differences of personality, beliefs, and ethics. But as the series went on, we only then get to see him starting to work closely with Garo, because they both soon realized they needed the two of them to work together. And in the final moments, the two Makai Knights share an unbreakable bond in which they team up to take on the biggest threat in the world, which has a fast and furious battle sequence like, damn, they be defying physics, damn, he doesn't die 3 times and still comes back to life. You see what I mean? If the original Zero had his character being developed so early on, it would have rushed things and made the dynamic between Zero and Garo less interesting. But since it took time for the two to develop and work together, we then get to understand the bond the two have created, which gives it a reason as to why they needed to work together to fight a common evil. And I felt like with the new character arc being developed so early and only given about 2 episodes for him to develop, it felt like there wasn't much the character could grow off of later on in the series, since it's sort of already been established and not looking like he could change or develop any further than what has already been changed. But I could be wrong. I stopped at the moment they had a plot twist, so things could probably still change, but maybe a bit too quickly. So I feel like the story arc of Soma had been like the first Zero and Garo. I maybe would have understood him more, because the way I see things as the story progresses along, we can see the ups and downs of his arrogance and his lone wolf mentality, and then get to appreciate the reasons to why he had changed to become someone that is the better version or the worst version of themselves. Now, I ain't no professional movie or TV show critic. I just say the things that are the way it is to me, which can sometimes be brutal. But obviously there are great things that have come out of the show, and I'm only singling out one of many bad things that I felt that were bad. There are other examples where I felt like the story writing was confusing, such as some plot twists that happen suddenly, or minor characters that get introduced and don't feel like they add much to the story in some way or another. I know one of those moments was the appearance of Kamen Rider Agita. Toshiki Kashu's appearance, even though he did technically matter, in which I won't spoil too much, but his send-off for his particular character was a little lackluster for me, because I want to see him become a Kamen Rider Agito. I mean, it sort of makes sense since this show is not called Kamen Rider Agito, but yeah. Now, I don't know if I should talk much about the bad stuff about this show. I feel like with the example I've given, it should be enough to give an idea of one of many things of the story that sort of follow the way the story arc was written. After all, I don't wanna be handing out spoilers just like that, and there's a lot that happens in only less than 10 episodes, so it's up to you guys to form your own opinions on the show, so watch yourself. Now, obviously with all movies and TV shows, there are good things and bad things about it, except for I still don't like that show. So why don't we talk about some things that I really like with this show. Fight choreography and CGI. The series has some outstanding CGI, and it feels like no other Toki series can quite compare, which is a bold statement because Goji -1 had pretty good CGI and won an Oscar for it. But in terms of comparing to the other big Toki shows right now, the others don't compare. As a matter of fact, I don't think the other Toki shows come even close. Just watch this scene, for example. Tell me that wasn't cool. Honestly, in my opinion, okay. There are no words to describe this apart from saying hell yeah, or no. There's only so many words to describe something that is cool, and I don't think I have anything else to say about this but the fact that this is very nice. The way these fight scenes are choreographed, oh, so perfect. The way the CGI makes things more realistic, especially with the suit designs, epic. And yeah, that's all I have to say about it, really. I mean, alright, hear me out. I could try and add some more things to say about this show that's really good, but I feel like if I were to try to add more things, it's just gonna sound like that I'm trying too hard to drag out the same point over and over again, which is, it's very nice and it's epic. There's only so many things that I can just say about the fight scenes and the fight choreography. I could try and make comparisons to other series, but I feel like, again, I'm just trying to drag out the same point. It's hard to say something about something that's good about a show. I struggle with it a lot, which is probably the reason why I don't struggle with making bad takes about some shows. But yeah, this show has fantastic fight scenes and fantastic fight choreography, and that's all I have to say about it, really. So honestly, these are one out of many things from this show that I like and that I dislike. I don't want to give up too many spoilers as to what happens because I feel like it is up to you to decide for your own opinion on the show. The biggest reasons for me as to why I stopped watching this show is because the stories are too confusing. The fact that some of the story arcs don't flow very well and the character developments happening way too quickly and maybe too suddenly. And also, I don't usually say this, but this is the first time in a TV show where I was begging to see more Makai Knight transformations and more fight scenes, because it's pretty cool. To see the detail and the design of the Makai Knights with the bright golden color and the very well choreographed fight choreography. I never say this, alright. Usually I prioritize well written stories over anything else, but this is the first time I wanted to see more action than the story, which is weird, huh? So to conclude, yeah, I decided to start watching the series, and for those of you wondering where I stopped at episode 9. Let me know if the series gets any better, because it's something that I want to enjoy, but at the moment I don't really enjoy it. I really want this show to be good. Alright, I'm not here to spread hate, I'm just here to say how I feel. Please, Ruth Dangs is long gone now. I ain't the same no more. But hey, it's only my opinion, and you should watch it yourself to form your own. I'm sure the story would suit others more, and I'm sure other people watching are enjoying it right now. So to wrap it all up, I'll see y'all soon. Bye!